But like, you don't have to be the best version of yourself to, court anybody.
Oh no, I agree. I always try to be the worst version of myself. That's why I agree.
Because in that way, like, there's no expectations. Lower.
See, now going to the opposite end of the spectrum, am I being manipulative? Am I showing myself to be a piece of shit? Where it's
that's the thing. At the end of the day, what are you really doing?
I don't know.
You're manipulating them because you already showed them the worst of yourself.
Even when I don't feel it.
Here?
Exactly.
No.
Wow.
You ever heard that phrase where it's like...
No, because if they liked you at your shittiest version of yourself...
Okay, Marilyn Monroe.
Right? If you show them the shittiest version of yourself and they already love that, it's like, bro, I have much more to give. Isn't that manipulating? That means you already got in the bag.
I would say that's manipulating. I would say that's...
Playing the cards right or whatever?
What you see is what you get.
No, but that's so weird though, because it's not persuasive either. Because persuasive, you guys are putting in a positive stigma, right?
Yeah.
So it makes them look at you better.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Peter.
And we're Guys That Listen. And before we start, I do want to address something that we totally forgot to mention last week. I'm sure you guys are like, what a huge oversight. Things are not the same. How could you forget it? I know. We're going to get a new sign, so don't worry about it. I'm just kidding. Mario is on a little break right now. He's a little busy with work, but he will be back very soon. So I'm here to sub-host. Let's get right into it. Johnny, thank you for joining us today.
What's up, guys?
We are here with the man, the myth, the legend, the tentacle dude, Dim Slum.
For everybody who doesn't know me, I guess I take pictures of naked girls. But it's actually more than that. If you guys want to find out, hit me up on IG, dim.slum, Dim Slum.
Just to put it into perspective, this is not his first Guys That Listen episode. He was actually one of the originals.
One of the OGs.
Funny enough, the OGs here.
True.
So I'm curious as to where his perspective has changed since then. And maybe if you guys are lucky, we might release the leak tapes from the... But we'll see about that.
You guys gotta pay for that.
Yeah, you gotta pay for that.
Subscribe.
OnlyFans.
I actually want to see my own growth too, because I don't know what the hell I said before, but
I mean, it was
I really want to know. I really want to know.
I mean, okay, let's just go to where you're at now. Where are you doing now? I mean, naked girls.
I'm in a better place, bro. I'll tell you that. Like mentally, physically, like financially. Aside from like my creative stuff. Probably not. I kind of put that on hold because everyone got to grow up.
Yeah.
But I still have it like within me. Like I can always go back to it. It's just do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, because I would assume it's more. Would you say it's like it's monetary? Why you put that on a little break? Because when it is your creative content, you can always pick that up whenever. But
yeah, like personal, like creative stuff, like. What I do for work is actually still creative, but it's like it's not me.
Yeah.
Like it's not
right.
I don't identify it as like what I really like to do, but it's like what I gotta do for the meantime. But I mean, at the end of the day, I still enjoy it. It's like as a creative, like can you really monetize that? That's the hard part. I felt like I just found a bridge for it, and like this works for me as of now. Even where I work at, like I still see it as like a stepping stone for where I really want to get at.
Let's go into your journey though, because
oh man.
We could go into the youth, but let's go into the most recent because that's something we can remember right now. But right before this gig, COVID and everything happened. You found yourself in kind of like a hard spot, right?
Honestly, yes and no. COVID, like for everybody's like, oh man, it's like where I struggled. Like I felt like that's where I thrived. Like to be honest, it's like everybody like. Stayed in, right? I mean, I also stayed in, but I dug in deeper within myself. But then once I kind of saw that, like, I went out. I dug in to go out. It's like I felt like I was more extroverted during COVID. Like I went out, hung out with like Kian, Adam, Mark, like those. That's a creative team, man. It's like it was insane. Actually, in this very room was like where we actually. I felt like we one-upped ourselves in terms of like what we were capable of. It's like it's very insane what we did here. Like nobody knew about. It's like from when we woke up to like when we went home, whether it's like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Like the thing is, we did shit. We did us, maybe even each other, but I'm not even talking about Smash Bros, but
Okay, now that you brought it up and you're talking about how during COVID you're your most extroverted self.
yeah,
And if there's one person I do want to talk about this, it would be you, because you're the one person that I've known personally that's gone the other way during COVID.
yeah.
A lot of people during COVID leaned into their introvertness because they stayed in, right?
Yeah.
Like the norm for them was like not seeing people. And I talk about this all the time where it's like your introvertness and your extrovertness is not like cemented. You know what I mean? It's not just one way or another and it stays like that forever.
Yeah.
And COVID is a prime example of that. When people stayed in, they felt more introverted. But
Yeah.
you're the opposite, which rarely happens.
Yeah.
And you yourself identify as an introvert, especially way back then, right?
I still am.
Yeah.
I actually took my Myers-Briggs and still the same.
So why do you think now that you said that was the most extroverted you've ever been?
I felt like it's more of like a personal thing. I actually can't even explain it. It's just like what happened in the, I guess, turn of events. Everybody stayed in. There was nothing to do. Like, where could we hang out? Like, so I was like, wait, we have an office where we could actually create, where we could have all the boys come together. It's like, why not utilize that time to actually do
Interesting.
something? And like, I don't make music. Adam, Ken, like Mark, they all make music. But I like tapped in to see like, but seeing their process also kind of like, it was kind of like a catalyst for me. It's like, man, they're like creating here, like I can too. But like, it was like in here, it's like I try to study what they're trying to do, so then maybe I could utilize it for myself. It's like the thing is like they kept it going,
Oh.
and that's like the main thing is like just don't stop, keep yourself like motivated. It's like if you guys see it within yourself, like, oh, wait, what is there to do? They're also thinking the same thing, but we're all together. Think about what are we gonna do. But the thing is, we did those things together. And like when you have a team with like minds, creatives, it's like we motivate each other, and it's like insane how like we just progressed. Like all of them making different tracks, whether it's like one of them, both of them, all of them, and then I just I was there for it, and I even made like some of the visuals for them. It's like, bro, even I'm included, and like I don't even make music. It's like the way they make music, I could feel it too, and it's like, isn't that what art's about? Isn't that what creatives feel connectively, like together?
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. So you mentioned that they were making music, they were creating, and you're like, oh, how am I going to be a part of this? And you started creating visuals.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the fact that what you were doing was motivated by passion or something that you're driven towards made you more extroverted? Because now I think about, imagine if you're an artist, right? And you want to collab, or a musician, and you want to collab with someone, like multiple artists, and you're introverted. That motivation to collab with those people will probably get you out of your shell to go meet up with people, to be in the same room and create music.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm always curious. We talked about this a couple times where I mentioned, if you're a person who's introverted and you have two different situations. One is you have a company party full of people that you don't really care for, right?
Yeah.
And it's a 10-minute drive. It's close. It's supposed to be fun. You go there and you're like, oh man, I'm dreading this and I just want to be back. On the flip side, you have a situation where three of your best friends that you haven't seen in a while comes into town. They're in LA, which to us is like an hour drive, right? 45 minutes sometimes. Hour and a half.
I feel like this is automatic.
And you're seeing your favorite musician, like all of you guys. Like that hour drive feels like nothing.
Yeah.
And you're willing to go out and you feel refreshed and you feel energized and you feel inspired.
Yeah.
That's why, to me, again, I'm not a scientist. I'm just speaking how I am. I think that feeling of being introverted or extrovert sometimes is very situational.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's very situational. But like, if the synergy is real, it's like you can't even argue with that.
Yeah.
You can't. It's like,
Do you
it's
feel like
too real.
do you feel like that point when people categorize themselves, especially being introvert or extrovert, a lot of times you take a test online and then you self-diagnose, right?
Yeah, sure. But like, the reality is that like we're all ambiverts. That's like ambiverts, like when you're both. Like we all have like a, what do you call it? A social battery.
Yeah.
Like extroverts, they
Yes.
they get the energy from people that give, right? And then introverts, it's when they kind of share and when it's reciprocated.
Yeah.
But it's like, both of them have batteries too. So it's like,
Yeah.
you just pick a side.
See,
Really.
that's
Well, it's not
interesting.
even pick a side. It's like you feel the side that you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super interesting that you said that, because everyone always deems me a extrovert, right? I don't deem myself that. And I'll talk about something that me and Adrian talked about too. I don't deem myself an extrovert. I don't fucking care about labels like that, right? Yeah, I'm fucking woke, right? But to me, there are some days where I don't want to talk to people. There's some days where I can't do small talk, even though 90% of the time I fucking can, right? And it just depends on my mood. If some shit went down and like my life is fucking going in shambles, I most likely will not be in the best mood to talk to people about small talk.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm in a normal, like, stable mood, then yeah, of course we could chit chat, talk about how fucking blue this guy is. Doesn't fucking matter.
True.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I don't think it is a spectrum. Right. But it's a situational spectrum.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, some people lean towards one side, but that kind of does change it when you think of it in a situational stance. Because, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because I kind of deem myself to be introverted too. So I'm very much situational, where most people do see an extroverted Adrian, but that's because I place myself in situations where I'm very comfortable and I will be that version of myself. But it's funny because there's the times when I'm not, and that's just, to me, the normal Adrian, where it's just a little more quiet, a little more reserved.
Yeah, because I think you're all that, to be honest. Right? When you're comfortable,
that's true,
you
that's
are
true.
that outgoing person. Again, this is something that I talk about a lot because I find it very frustrating when people put themselves in a box and they allow the label to speak on their behalf. This is why I am the way I am, because I'm introverted, And I talked to Adrian about this, and I think being introverted now is kind of like the new age vegan. And people are probably hate me for this, but the reason why I say that is people who are introverted, you're gonna hear from them. Why can't I go? I'm introverted. My social battery is drained. They gotta explain, right? Very easily. But how often do you hear an extrovert person be like, "Oh, I gotta go out. I'm extroverted." They just fucking go out. There's no reason for it. No label. Nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't even argue with that.
Yeah, and we go back to a point where now we're self-diagnosing ourselves, right? We're taking these tests that change all the fucking time. Or sometimes, like, Johnny stays the same. But yet, even though it stayed the same,
sold,
he is the most extrovert he's ever been.
Dude,
Balance.
okay, yeah. So 2 points on that. Yeah, the 16 personalities. Have you seen that website?
No.
Where it's free, you can take it.
I got 2. I'm bipolar.
Geminis.
Hey.
I think it's 16 personalities.
Toxic
You can correct me on that, but it's so.
You can correct yourself in that. And like, you can correct.
Oh, yeah.
Adrian's talking to himself in the computer.
I'm gonna edit it myself. But you can take this test online, and then it'll give you like ENFPA, INTJ. But the thing about that test is, I think every few years that does change for you. Maybe 1 or 2 letters.
Yeah.
But it's a good point to bring up that, like, when you do that test, you do have to realize, like, you can't just go off, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
And then you follow that guideline. You follow all of that.
Definitely.
It's more of this is probably what you exude in terms of the answers you give. And
Currently.
yeah, exactly. Currently. And we all change. That's why it's good to take it again. But
Damn,
not
that means
to
I've
follow
been the
it.
same because I took it 3 times.
Same. I took it 4 now, actually.
But okay,
Yeah.
even then, right? If your results are the same, I think there's still a spectrum within each personality type.
The
You
morals.
mean you might be?
I stuck with the morals. I didn't even think about it of like life situations. Like, I saw like, what would I really do? Not like if I'm in that situation, like, what am I gonna lean toward? Just like, this is who I am, and like that's. What
Can you
I'm really
explain
gonna
that
do.
test so people
see.
can understand?
When you stick with your morals, I'd say like when you're most genuine, you kind of just stick to that. And it might even be a cap for me, like where I've always stayed the same. But that's also another thing I can even get into is like, because I've been the same, this is where I am. And it's crazy. It's like, and like,
interesting.
It kind of sucks because like when I do want to improve myself in like certain aspects, I can't find myself doing those things because it's not me. and it really sucks. It really sucks.
Okay.
Sometimes, like, it's not that I'm capping myself and like,
Yeah.
because we're always trying to improve ourselves, right? Like maybe in this aspect, like maybe I could be like, oh, let's put Dim Slum on that pedestal, like let's own that name or whatever. But it doesn't reside with me, so like I wouldn't do it. And like maybe I could be bigger or like whatever, but that's the thing. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
That's not part of my morals. Like I didn't have that facade just to like, oh, this is what Dim Slum is. It's like instead, this is what I am, who I am, and like what I believe in. You know,
Right.
and that's why like I guess that Myers-Briggs, those letters, it stayed the same from high school. From like, I actually took it recently.
Wow.
Like Peter sent me an app, and after that test, it's actually 4 times, not 3. It's been the same throughout. Even with that app that he sent me, like, oh, this might be more updated.
Yeah.
I still remain the same person, and it's really weird.
See, that's okay. Now I'm kind of curious. And I want to add. When was the first time you took that test?
High school?
High school, right?
Yeah, high school.
And I met you in college.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing I gotta say is that to me, you're a completely different fucking person. So I don't give a fuck what that test says. Like I'm not seeing the same
maybe it's
Johnny.
actually not a personality test. It's a moral test.
Well, that's what I'm curious about because what kind of questions does it have on there?
They're kind of like
If you read it, they're actually very moral questions.
Like all of them though?
a lot of them are, yeah, or I wouldn't say all are moral, but
In
some
a situation
are,
like, would you save the cat from the tree? It's like, I mean, in high school, that's what
Oh wait, which
that's
test?
what I
Oh, the
remember.
Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
I
is-
haven't taken that one.
Well, it's the same.
It's
like,
very
it comes
similar
out with
to
the
the
same
16.
letters. Like I've
Well,
I've
but
been,
you have to pay for that test.
No, I took it in high school, and then the one I sent him is on an app
It's on an
called
app.
Dimension, I think, or Dimensional.
So if you
Yeah.
took it,
Please sponsor the podcast. But
if you took it at school, usually a school can get it
Yeah.
for free, but outside of any like school, college, university, you have to pay for it. I think.
Myers-Briggs?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
shit,
it's
really?
not free. It's like
maybe look
last
up-
I heard it was like $45, but it could be more now, of course. But
yeah.
anything online like 16 personalities and all that, obviously take it with a grain of salt because they're not the Myers-Briggs. They're just based off of the usual official one that
yeah.
most people use. But 16 personalities is the most popular one that I've seen, and it's also the most depth I've seen in one.
Is it newer?
I took it back in when I entered college early on.
See, that's the thing about these tests and quizzes. A lot of them are very old. I'm wondering what the updated versions
Oh, yeah,
look
yeah,
like. I'm curious how the studies have changed.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
for me, I took a test like Myers-Briggs recently. That's why I sent it to Johnny on that Dimensional app. And my thing is like completely different now.
Yeah.
It's very different. And I feel the only big difference between me back then and me now is I'm a lot calmer.
Yeah.
As far as the things that were before, for instance, like when you answer the questions on the test, it's not like most of them are not yes and no, if any, right? It's like strongly agree, agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just, deviations, right? And mine went from like, let's say strongly agree to like agree. Or agree to strongly agree. It never flipped.
Yeah.
But my personality traits are completely different from the test.
Wow.
That's why I'm curious, like how it gauges it. Because
Yeah.
to me, it goes back to like I look at this shit. I'm like, whatever. I don't really care that much, right? Because again, it puts me in a box, and that's what I'm most afraid of is like how often these tests and these labels put you in a
That's
box.
the crazy thing. I took the test to see if I'm still in the box.
Yeah.
Like, did I change? But the thing is, like, I personally know that I did change from who I used to be,
Yeah,
what I believed
100%.
in. Not morals, like what I used to like kind of follow with like this is how my life is gonna be. Da, da, da. But it's like to the core, like my morals still stayed the same. And it's crazy because when I do like run into people that I haven't seen since like high school, like, oh man, you're like a completely different person. But I still treat them the same as if like I just met them again in high school. It's like it's really weird.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of questions on there, I
Yeah.
guess, that would be based on like morality. But a lot of them are more on
It's like things that you usually gravitate towards, right? Like
Yeah.
if someone confronted you,
It's like scenario based.
would you
Yeah, there you go.
like would you
Scenario-based.
approach them?
Yeah.
Would you confront them? Like agree, disagree, whatever it's right? Or do you feel nervous talking in front of a crowd? Like agree, disagree, whatever.
pretty
it's right?
wide range, actually.
Yeah, it is very wide range. And now I'm because like I don't know if, again, this is not science-based or anything like that. I do not know if these tests do more good than they do bad. You know, again, the reason, going to the roots of why I fucking hate this shit, right, is because things like fucking zodiac signs like that.
They label you.
They label you and they categorize you, and I'm two-faced for the rest of my fucking life, right?
Gemini.
Yeah, you know? And to me, I'm like, nah, dude, life is not like that. You could
it's not.
do your own fucking shit. It's not
what a
fake.
Gemini thing to do.
You know what's fucking crazy? So today, you know how Thread is like a thing now?
Yeah.
So today, Ernest, the Doc
Cairo. Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, like if you were single now, would you date and would you go on online dating apps?" And I was like, "All right, let me participate in this fucking thread, right? Let me be relevant." So I go on and I'm like, "I haven't dated in a couple of years, been single, I haven't even thought about it." And he was like, "Oh, what zodiac sign are you?" I'm like, "Oh, you're going there, huh?" I was like, I'm a classic Gemini."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Knew it."
Oh,
And I'm like, "Dude, don't fucking do that to me, bro."
straight for the jugular.
For real.
Damn, Ernest. He went clack.
I didn't come back to life though. You know what I mean? Like that stuff to me gets me because I think that people have the ability to change. You know, and that to me is the main thing.
Yeah.
As much as these tests tell you got the same result, like it could still be fucking very much different.
That's why I kind of laughed at it. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. I grew as a person. I changed like who I was from before. Like, I even looked different. It's like if someone like ran to me, they probably wouldn't even recognize me or even like knew who the fuck I am. But my personality test is still the same.
Yeah.
That's really weird. Like nobody recognized. It was like,
Well, what's your belief on these personality tests then?
I just want to see it. That's it. It's like,
Okay.
like
You don't have no preconceived.
I'm taking a test, but
Mm-hmm.
are they testing me or am I testing it? It's like I'm
Yeah.
actually testing myself. Like, am I still, like cool? Gives me the same result, but I knew I grew as a person. Like,
Yeah.
most definitely have.
Okay, good. So you have already in your head before you take it, like, this is what I believe that I am right now.
Oh no,
You're
I
like,
kept
this
it
is
open minded. It's like maybe I have changed. So it's like I just took it as if
Oh, okay.
it's just another test. It's not like
Right.
oh me, I'm gonna like I'm gonna fucking pee. I'm gonna choose these questions. It's like I'm
Right.
gonna answer it, and I don't know what the answers or like the results are gonna be.
Yeah.
I just answered it as if I was literally taking a fucking test.
Right. Like as you should, because I think like when you take these, you shouldn't take it thinking like, oh, I hope I get this, like,
Yeah,
or I
like-
hope I align
Yeah,
with this.
very open minded.
Because-
Like, I want to see if I did change as a person. It's like if I
Yeah,
did,
yeah.
like maybe it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, it's like if I got the same result, it's like, well, fuck it. I
Yeah.
did change as a person. Like, fuck this test.
Right. Oh,
But you
okay.
can't fuck the truth.
Well, we don't know which one's
mean,
the truth though.
unless
That's
someone's
the
named
thing.
Truth.
I mean,
but,
if
you
you
know.
got the same results 3 times,
Yeah.
isn't that kind of technically the truth?
Yeah. I mean, you are replicating the same results, so it could be a, indication of what is the truth towards
Yeah.
your
So
personality.
that's why I was asking: is it a personality
Yeah.
test or a moral test?
The only way I would say it is aligning to the truth is if you took the same tests from the same, sort of
They're all different.
format. That's the thing, though. That's why it's like the Myers-Briggs is the only one, the one that you have to pay for, I guess.
Yeah,
if
that's the one
you
I took
take
at
that
high
consecutively, and it didn't change, that would be very interesting to see.
I've mentioned that I could be very manipulative, and I've come to terms with that for a long time. but-
Gemini.
Is it a Gemini thing? I'm curious.
I don't know.
I think I was just a kid who's seeking attention. But anyways,
Oh, wow.
so one of the first times where I realized that I could kind of manipulate the things that people do or the way people perceive people is when I used to work at Best Buy. There was a personality test that you would take.
Yeah.
I took it, and I just remember thinking like, this is what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Passed it, took the person interview. Didn't think too much of it. I was like, oh, it's just an interview. Got the job. And then my friends were like, dude, I cannot pass this fucking test. Like,
Wow.
really? It's not that difficult. But anyways, so I had taken it for like at least 3 of my friends or 4 of my friends. And I didn't actually remember the answer. I just felt like I knew what people want to hear. What the business owners want to hear. Right? And obviously, they got the interview and they got the job afterwards. And I noticed in myself, whenever I take these tests, what I'm always fighting against in my own head, right, is that, am I saying this because I truly believe it? Even though this is Literally, just me and the test. No one else needs to know the fucking results.
Mm-hmm.
Just me and the test. Somewhere in my mind, I still think like how I did when I was working at Best Buy or getting that job, that I just want to answer correctly, not honestly. And that's something that I weirdly enough still struggle with, you know?
Yeah, he's not the best buy. He's the best guy.
Hey.
And he listens.
One of the questions is, if you saw a coworker stealing something, would you talk to them, pull them aside and talk to them, or would you tell your supervisor?
Mm-hmm.
And I applied to Best Buy before too, and because of Ratana.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
And then I answered honestly. I was like, I would pull the coworker aside and I would talk to him, and that's the wrong answer apparently.
Because it's according to work.
Because it's about the money, man. They want to know. They want to know. They want to make sure he doesn't do it again on their own accord.
Yep.
They want to take their own disciplinary action.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Your answer wasn't wrong.
It wasn't wrong to me, but
it works with your morals. And all right,
There you go.
So I
So
found
does it go
Oh,
back to a
shit.
personality test or a moral
See,
test?
that's why. Am I fucking really being honest with these personality tests? Is that why I got a different fucking answer? Because I found a way to weasel my way through to the best fucking answers
it
possible.
made you manipulative. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
dude.
Were the results all the same?
The results are all the same, no matter how they rearrange the fucking questions. And I don't. It's not like I memorized and I wrote it down and I
It's
replicated
what
my
you would
fucking
do for the
test.
job.
I just knew
Yeah,
what
yeah.
So
to do.
morally, you wanted to get the job and you didn't care about anything
I
else.
know.
There you go.
See, but you know what though? So this is one. So it's like fun fact about me, right? Is I've had over like 30 something jobs in my life, like more than I could count my fucking feet and hands, right? And I felt like a lot of it was due to the fact that I just knew people. Like I knew how to talk to them. I knew how to give them the answers they want to hear. I remember I would say shit and people were like, wow. Like I got fucking like outstanding applause one time for like my interview. They're like, dude, you're going to be the guy.
Oh,
Yeah. Always found I'm a lazy piece of shit. Like crazy, right? But I remember one time where, well, actually 2 times. I mentioned one time before on the podcast where I thought the interviewer wanted me to say, I want to help people with homes. That's why I want to get into mortgage. And they're like, no, you should be in here because you want to fucking make money.
yeah.
And it's funny because I ended up taking a job, another sales job. And I guess maybe this is a sales thing. That's why they call salespeople greasy.
Oh,
Maybe that's why.
That kind of makes sense.
But I took a sales job, right? And it was like a used pre-owned sales like auction lot. And they're like, oh, why do you want to work here? And then I was like, this sales. I remembered in my head. But my gut instinct told me to be like, oh, it's because I want to help people out get the cars that they love.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's my gut instinct, like how I naturally manipulate people.
Yeah.
But in my head, it went against it because my experience told me sales motherfuckers want to make money.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, I want to just sell as many cars as I possibly can. And they're like, that's the spirit. And they hired me. You know? It's crazy because I learned, and now I'm learning how to be manipulative even at another level.
You know what's crazy about this is
What?
you're telling 2 sides of your thinking.
Yeah.
What a Gemini thing to do.
Dude, hey, don't box me in like that, bro. Come on.
I mean, I saw it, I understood it, but I would never say anything about it because you know why?
Yeah.
Whether he thinks that way or not, it's not
That's-
hurting. It's
that's
not really
wild.
hurting anybody. So
No, yeah.
I, mean, I hope he
Because
doesn't.
he was doing it for, for the sake of getting a job, for the sake of helping his
Yeah.
friends get a job.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny, right? Like using his powers of being manipulative
or
further-
Gemini.
He's the modern day Robin.
That's why I say, like, being manipulative is not always a bad thing. It has such a bad stigma to it, but it's not always a bad thing. But someone told me, maybe you're just being persuasive. I'm like,
Yes.
I don't know. Where do you draw the line between being persuasive and being manipulative, though?
Okay, I was just gonna say that.
Oh, really?
In communication studies, it's the art of persuasion.
I
Right?
was about to say art of war.
You could start one. You could start
Sun
one.
Tzu taught me in communication studies. No, the art of persuasion or rhetoric, right?
Uh-huh.
If you look at today's politics, right, very polarizing, but all they do is engage in rhetoric. Who can be the most convincing? Who can be the most persuasive about what should be the modern day status quo, right? Should we be respecting people's pronouns or should we be not even doing that, right? But
Yeah.
it's about who has the most persuasive argument and who can set the new status quo of things, right?
Yeah.
And what you're doing is not really manipulative. I would say manipulative would have more negative connotations, right? If your reason for doing things ended up having negative effects to some people, right? But you did it with intentions to have positive results for you or for other people. Yeah. So it would be a persuasive use of your actions rather than manipulative behavior.
Well, that's kind of a toss up because when I got the sales job, I was like, I ain't trying to sell fucking cars. This fucking company was such a shady ass fucking company. Yeah, this company was such a shady ass fucking company, bro. Yeah. Like it was a public car auction, right?
Yeah.
And they would say like, oh yeah, this guy raised the bid. This fucking guy worked for the fucking company who was raising the bid. So I was like, fuck this company. That's why. So because it rubbed me wrong, right? Yeah. You know what I did? I went to the back room that they don't use. I would just sleep there all the fucking time. Waste company fucking money. I was like, fuck these guys. I don't want to deal with this fucking bullshit because I'm not trying to act like I'm bidding on a car when I'm actually working here. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe I did manipulate them because I didn't have the best interest for the company. Personally. Right. You know, I was just like, hey, I'm just trying to work. It gets a little blurred, huh?
Yeah. Well, you didn't have the best interest for them because of how sort of, I guess you could say, evil you viewed how they were.
No, I didn't learn that until after.
Oh, you were just doing
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So
I didn't know they were bad people. They just happened to be bad people. I got fucking lucky.
Wouldn't you say like you didn't fuck with the job because it was against your morals?
Well, I mean, I didn't find out till later though. See, initially I had no idea.
Look, that's the thing.
That's pretty funny.
You already knew it before you found out. Really, like you already thought of it.
I thought of the idea of sales. Yes.
No, like the thought of like it doesn't reside with me, what they were doing, which is it went against your morals initially before you even realized it. Really.
Well, I mean, not so much. I feel like car sales is a necessary evil. You know, to be honest.
Well, like even with them like cheating other people.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know until after I started working there. After I saw how the auctions function.
There's a threshold of evil.
Yeah. And it got worse.
But then once you found that out, it's like, oh shit, it doesn't reside with me, right?
Yeah. That made me even lazier, you know, to be honest. Okay, so since we're talking about this like manipulative and like persuasive conversation, right? I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Do you guys think that being the ultimate best version of yourself on a first date or when you're courting someone is being persuasive or manipulative?
Oh, that's such a good question.
I mean,
I have a couple thoughts on that.
If how you are genuinely is manipulative or persuasive, then you're either one of those. But if you're just yourself, then you're just being genuine and real, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
If it resides within it, then you are either one of those. But if you had no intentions of those, then you're neither of them, right?
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Though. It's like I'm just saying that like you're showing let's say you don't even feel like this person right now. You're not feeling like being fucking chipper on this fucking date, right? But you know you want it to go well, or else you would just dip.
Well, see that mindset already. It already comes off of you're picking either manipulative or persuasive already off the bat.
Well, I guess it
if you don't even think about it, the thing is like I wouldn't even think about that if I was going on a date to, you know, if I like this person, I really wanted them or whatever. I'll just be me. And if they didn't like who I was, then fuck it.
So you wouldn't show the best version of yourself.
That is the best version of myself, but I would not have to manipulate them, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What if you didn't feel like the best version of yourself that day?
Then I'll just be me either way.
So you'd be the lesser version of yourself.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I'm still myself.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I meant.
That's where I was getting at. It's like, but you start off with the conversation. It's like, oh man, like maybe I have to be this way because I really want this person.
Yeah.
Which is the mindset already starts off as manipulative and persuading, right?
So that's the way you see it.
Yeah. From that, like you know, but like
Yeah.
you don't have to be the best version of yourself to court anybody.
Oh no, I agree. I always try to be the worst version of myself. That's why I agree.
You know, because that way, like, there's no expectations. Lower.
See, now going to the opposite end of the spectrum. Am I being manipulative? Am I showing myself to be a piece of shit? Where it's
that's the thing. At the end of the day, what are you really doing?
I don't know.
You're manipulating them because you already showed them the worst of yourself.
Even when I don't feel it.
Exactly.
No.
Wow.
You ever heard that phrase where it's like,
no, because if they liked you, if at your shittiest version of yourself,
okay, Marilyn Monroe.
Right? If you show them the shittiest version of yourself, and they already love that, it's like, bro, I have much more to give. Isn't that manipulating? That means you already got in the bag.
I would say that's manipulating. I would say
playing the cards right or whatever.
What you see is what you get.
No, but that's so weird though, because it's not persuasive either. Because persuasive, you guys are putting in a positive stigma, right?
Yeah.
So it makes them look at you better.
Yeah. Okay.
Or for yourself
Make
better.
them look at you better. What is that?
Well, no, that's
Kinda,
the best
to me,
version.
it just looks like
That's the best version part he's talking about.
Sure.
Right. So a lot of people say that dates are like interviews, right? You come in, you try to show the best version of yourself. You're trying to get this job. At a date, you're trying to get this chick if you do like her. But really, though, when it comes to dates, you're not always trying to get them. You are also trying to understand if this is a person I want to pursue in the long run. Yeah. Because that's what dating is. You have to figure out
whether this person is for me or not.
Right. Because really, what I think when we're showing our best versions of ourselves, we're just acting in a certain etiquette that the dating world expects, right?
Yeah.
You do want to show your best manners and your best behaviors just because you're just trying to be polite, I think, right? But that's not everybody's intention. Sometimes people like Pete just want to be the worst version of themselves. I don't know about worst. Like, that's kind of, I don't know what you mean by that. Like, are you intentionally being like the worst? Like, you're being
He's just
hella
showing up, not
manipulative.
giving a fuck.
No,
Yeah. Like with
like,
holes in his shirt and
If
like,
they're with it, they're with
nomad.
it. If they're with it, they're with
Like
it.
haven't showered in a couple days. Like,
Okay.
Set the bar.
Okay, I don't know about this guy. I can't
no,
speak
I'm
for
just
that.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
But essentially, there is a certain etiquette that we all meet when it comes to dating, right? There is a courting process that we all understand that we should follow. And everybody has their certain range of what is the best version of themselves, right? For you, even if it is you're not the most chipper that day, you're not feeling it that day, it's still going to be you to a certain extent, to a threshold that you believe is presentable in a date.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
It's
that's how
just
you
kind
do
of
it.
fair, you know?
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
maybe because
But I
I
think
don't
that's
actually
how
don't
most
even.
people operate in
Maybe.
sort of.
you
I mean,
think
I feel like it's
how
someone's
Johnny
own.
is how most people operate, or how?
I think it's someone's own. I can't even like.
Good
I can't
question.
even argue with
Yeah.
any of
What do you
these.
think is the majority? What does society do?
I think the
generally?
majority is we do all try to present ourselves the best that we can. I wouldn't say the best version, but we are trying to put out a version of ourselves that may bag that chick, you know.
I mean,
But that depends on people's intentions, right? Because
That's
sometimes
what-
people
yeah.
do straight out of the gate say like, "Hey, I'm just looking for something casual." Then that changes the whole game, right?
Yeah,
or if
situational
you're
at that
dating
point.
for long term, that
Yeah.
changes the whole approach. Like,
Yeah.
there's a whole other sort of prerequisites that need to be answered before you understand what people are presenting in a date.
So here's the question, right?
Mhm.
You said that people will either let known that they're looking for something casual or they're dating.
Yeah.
But what about those who flip their answer to get what they want? So, for instance, you know, we'll talk about guys because we're guys, right?
I see what you mean.
I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Let's
really
say a
apply to me
guy
because I don't give a shit.
Is
But
acting like they're husband material, but they belong for the fucking streets, and they know that tonight they want to go under the sheets, right? But they're gonna say
That's
what
just
they need to-
manipulative then,
So
no?
that's being manipulative, right?
Yeah.
But how do you think generally
Yeah.
society functions, though? Are they gonna say what they need to say to get what they want?
Mm-hmm.
So inversely, or the opposite end of the spectrum, are you gonna
see where you're going?
like, even though, let's say you do want a long-term relationship, right? You want to be husband material, but you're not, and you're just acting like you are, but that's what you want. So that aligns with what you want, what you're going for, but you're not quite that person. You're selling yourself off to be that person.
yeah, does
Is
that,
that still
open up
manipulative?
the door to like fake it
No,
till you
I
make
don't-
it kind of thing?
Yeah, I
Don't
don't
what?
think it's a manipulative.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
See, I fucking hate.
Mhm.
I fucking hate.
You hate that saying?
I fucking hate. I really do.
How come?
why did you say it like that?
Because I burped.
I thought you were getting nervous.
Yeah, it's like my belief.
Oh
dare
shit! He's
you.
about to challenge my beliefs.
Damn.
Oh, go
Like,
ahead.
I used to like. I want to always say that. Just like, oh, bro, like you're doing good things, man. Like, just fake it till you make it.
Mm.
I'm like,
Do you feel like it's a cop out?
bro, yeah. It's like you're just
Mm.
copying yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we had this conversation already.
Oh
man.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, like you can fake it till you make it,
Mhm.
and then once you're there, like, cool, you got the check,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it didn't work out, and then you just go back to faking it until you make it. But the thing is, like, in my head, sure, you can fake it till you make it. You can fake it till you beat it.
Yeah.
all those sayings, it makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Fake it to whatever to begin with. You're already
Being-
fake. You're absolutely fucking nothing that you wanted to be because you're fake to begin with. So don't fake anything. Just be real about it.
Yeah.
Be real about it. Earn it. Grow through it. To go through it kind of shit. Like, I don't
Yeah.
believe in the whole fake it anything. Fake nothing.
Yeah.
Because then what does that kind of like reflect on yourself? You're fake to begin with. You're nothing that you want it to be. It's all fake.
But okay, like I want to speak about it in terms of like a spectrum again, right? So let's say faking it doesn't necessarily mean the extreme end of it. Like this is the polar opposite of what you are.
Sure.
But it's where you're trying to go, but you're not quite there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So let's say, like, you want to be a charismatic person. You're not as charismatic, but you're going to try to pretend to be more charismatic,
Well,
right? You want to be
You
more
said
out there.
Pretend, right? Like, you can't really pretend to do anything.
Okay.
You don't think that, like, let's say, for instance,
Well,
right?
like, that's the thing. Like, how far can you really go?
Well, that's why I want questions, because I actually do think...
Because if you're really about where you want it to end up, why would you even pretend or fake anything? Because it's not going to last that long.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is because if it aligns with you, right?
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, if you only wanted to get there for the meantime, cool. Fake it till you make it then. That's fine.
Oh, no. Not even for the meantime. I
Yeah.
think it's just like,
Well,
that's
fake
your
it till you
end
make
goal.
it. It's just for the meantime.
Okay,
to begin
so
with.
that's how
Okay,
you
okay.
interpret it.
Fake
Got
it till
got
you make it anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just for the meantime.
Got
Yeah.
it, okay.
Because
I would
faking
think-
does not last long.
The intention behind that sort of saying was good intent, right? It's to give people the sort of
Yeah.
like, yeah, light the fire inside somebody
Yeah.
to pursue something that they don't think they can do. But I think
Well,
a
at that
better way
point,
to
it's
phrase
you
it,
versus yourself.
it is right, and that's pretty much everybody, right? We all deal with that self doubt. I think a
Yeah.
better way to rephrase it would be emulate something that you want to be like until you understand how it is to be like that, right? Because
There is
you're not
another
essentially
phrase.
faking it. You
Yeah.
are trying to do what has been done by other people,
Yeah.
and you just want to emulate the same behavior, and you want to adopt those behaviors. And I think the best way to do it is, of course, copying other people. But I think fake it till you make it is just rolls off the tongue a lot better, and
Yes.
it works with a lot of people.
Maybe I'm
But-
being a little too personal, but like even
Yeah.
adopting these behaviors, like why do you need to adopt these behaviors? Why don't you find them within yourself? Don't adopt it. Understand yourself. Don't
yeah,
adopt these feelings.
Of course, I gotta
it's
say
like,
though,
I might be getting a little too personal with that, but it's like maybe that's what I had to go through to like get where I am. I'm not saying like I'm the
Yeah.
most genuine, like
yeah,
you know, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I had to learn through all that stuff
yeah,
and be real with myself because that's where I am today. It's like it was not easy. It was
Yeah.
not like fake it to make it like that. Literally did not reside with me at all.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying like adopting the behaviors or like faking it till you make it. It's not genuine enough in that sense of
Yeah,
giving the integrity to what you're doing, right?
because it's kind of not like it even says within itself like fake it to make it.
Well, I think what you're saying too is like with your art, like you figured it out for yourself,
Oh,
right?
it's not even
But
the art; it's you as a person.
right, but as we know, like with a lot of art in general, right, we tend to copy or emulate the people who have done something successfully, and then we do that until we figure out how to actually produce art, and then we add
Like-
our own
like be
style and our
inspired.
own flair. Right, being inspired.
But being inspired is not faking anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's a threshold of boundaries for everything, right?
Yeah, that's why I didn't say I agree
So-
with the faking, but emulating something to the point where you feel inspired enough or motivated enough or confident enough to add your own flair and style to something is important.
Yeah, but you're like emulating, you're not faking anything, right?
Yeah, right, which we both agree on. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's what it comes down to. It's like why fake anything?
Okay.
Well, this also comes back to what morals.
Oh, in a
Does it
sense,
come down to
I
morals?
don't
You
know.
technically faked the test, so it's like
Oh yeah, right. We were talking
mean,
about manipulation,
not
persuasiveness.
attacking
Yeah, my
Peter.
morals are skewed.
Oh, not attacking Peter, but it's like it really comes down to like what you really want to get out of it, right?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
The end goal, sure.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, if someone's so focused on the end goal and they'll fake it to get there, cool.
Yeah.
That resides to them. But like, once they reach the end goal, that's all that there is, right?
Right.
And then once that like timeline is done, you have nothing left because it was all fake. If you say genuine and then you achieved it, you still have it, even though time has passed, and then you pursue something else. Because you've always been real with it. You never lose anything after that time is done.
Built on a mountain of lies.
Yeah, I think that's my life in a nutshell.
If you build it with something that's there, like you're literally building your foundation, right?
Yeah.
Like that means everything that you've done, you've built, it's still going to be there to withstand whatever that you're going to go through. But after that time is done, if it's fake, it's not even going to be there, then what do you have left?
Huh,
Go ahead,
okay.
And I've had many conversations about literally this, maybe in like other forms, even with facades.
Yeah. Oh.
Like you as a person, you as like whatever that you created as a creative, even like your IG handles, right? Fake it till you make it. Cool, it's just a name. But that is why I've always separated myself from that. And I can even get deep into like why I separate myself as a person and Dim Slum, whatever. The thing is, at the end of the day, I know that it's the same person. It's the same entity, whatever. But when you separate it, you can never lose it because it belongs to you. You own the name, right?
Right. You kind of employ.
But what sucks is that you can lose yourself into that name. The thing is, like, when you see yourself and you put yourself in that pedestal of that facade, you lose yourself. Like yourself, your name, like Johnny. Oh, I'm like Dim Slum because people see me up here. But then where's Johnny?
Yeah.
If you're Johnny always and the name is stuck to it and you're up here, it stays with you always.
Yeah.
You never, unless you lose yourself in it, then that's your threshold.
It becomes a balancing act.
There you go.
You know, just to kind of give a little bit of context, and I mentioned this a couple times, but when I was younger, and usually kids knowing how to be genuine to yourself it's kind of difficult, especially now with like all the noise that's going on. But when I was younger, I was very quiet. I was very to myself, and that meant that I was bullied like frequently. I was an easy target, right? And to get out of that, I had to be someone I wasn't. I had to be friendlier to my bullies, you know? I learned that very early on, and I used that throughout like my whole life until I stopped getting bullied. And at this point, you know, when you say you get lost in it, I'm kind of curious about myself. Am I really friendly, or am I doing this to survive out of like not getting bullied? You know, so now it's like my existence is all false.
Identity crisis.
You know what I mean? Like now I'm kind of curious because am I really this friendly person, or am I just doing this because this is how I get along, or this is how I move along?
Like how you need to survive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if this comforts you, mine was the complete opposite. When I was younger, I was so fucking annoying and loud, and that's why I got bullied. Was they bullied me to be more fucking quiet, and that kind of became my personality, where I was a little more reserved and a little more quiet. And then I met alcohol, and then shit came back out.
Yeah.
So you're
now
yourself again. How's it playing?
I mean, that's what, to the point of both of us, we don't really know, and
well, that's the thing.
It's a trauma I think we're both healing through.
Well,
That's
what
what
I'm
wondering.
How do you
version of
this
ourselves?
literally goes back into COVID.
Okay.
People went in, but did they dig in? I dug in. I dug fucking deep.
Yeah.
I dug so deep, I crawled out and went out.
Yeah.
I stayed out, bro.
Right.
And I was me, the most extroverted I've ever been, because I don't need to worry about anything anymore. I'm still introverted, but I don't have everything that was holding me back. I accepted those things. Like, I am me, right? The thing is, I remain genuine. I don't have to be fake. Why do I need to worry about that? I am me.
Yeah.
And the things that we've always faked from the beginning, what happens? That shit lives rent-free in your head. You always have to backtrack. Like, wait, did I do this? Because you worried about those stones that you fucking, like, set, right? You have to worry about it. Did I do this? Did I do something wrong? But if those stones or whatever that you set were real to be able, you don't have to fucking worry about it. That's why I don't have to fucking worry about nothing, bro. If something bad happens, I have to like back myself up. Somebody will say it for me because
I see what you mean.
I've always been genuine. I don't have to fucking reply. I don't have to fucking say anything. It's like when you're you, people will say exactly how it is. You don't have to fucking say it. People will say it for you.
Yeah.
Because that's how I am. I don't have to defend myself. Life defends it for you because of how you've been throughout your life. Being real, being genuine, being There's no facades. There's no fake it till you make it. It's like, do you ever have to second guess how I am or like what I'm gonna respond? Like what am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
I swear, like if I ask anybody if they have to second guess my choices and my decisions, they would probably say no
Yeah.
because they know how I'm gonna answer.
I would
That's
say,
how real I've been from the beginning.
Yeah.
Even with my art, even with whatever I do,
Mm.
I'm safe in however I move.
Mm.
That's something that I've like set since I took that fucking Myers-Briggs test, right?
Mm-hmm.
The morals
Right.
have been the same. How I am has been the same. What I do has been the same. How I treat people has been the same. How I treat myself has been the same. Maybe a little harsher because
Right.
I never saw that with myself to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I did. Then after that, I don't have to look back. You just keep moving forward. Things like people set their stones. They have to keep looking back because they probably fucked up in the past.
What you're talking about is integrity. You know, you've
All
built
of it.
you've built the merit to earn the respect for the integrity that you
Oh,
have.
man, I wasn't
you
even
know?
focused
So
on
you
the
don't have to.
I wasn't even focused on the respect because
Mhm.
the thing is like, if
Well,
you
that
don't,
just comes with how you behave, right?
true.
If you hold that certain merit and that integrity to yourself, you have
Yeah.
nothing to worry about. Like
Yeah,
you were
nothing
saying,
to lose. Like,
exactly, because
yeah.
the people around you will speak for you as well, right?
But that's the thing. I didn't even expect that. I
Mhm.
didn't even know that would happen. It's
Mhm.
like that's how the cookie
Like,
crumbles, I
yeah.
guess.
So you know how we're talking about fake it till you make it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's not the quote that describes me. It's like
Oh,
fake
I
it
would
till
never
you
describe
become
you
it.
as, I would never
And
describe.
I think
you as
like
that.
I've become this person that is like friendly now, and now I can't differentiate. Like, am I still in survival mode, or am I really like this? You know, and maybe that's like the biggest thing to me, because I think in general, like being genuine and authentic is very broad, and it's not that concise. You know, to me, I think I have some impulsive thoughts where I'm like, this is bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, this, I should not be thinking shit
Impulsive
like
or intrusive?
it's
It's both. It's definitely
but
both.
and also impulsive, but then I don't, you know, react to
Act
my
on it.
impulses. You know, I don't act on my impulses, right? So that's
Yeah.
totally different.
I see.
Difference is, so you know, sometimes I think these things where I'm like, I remember one of my first thoughts, one of my first like intrusive,
Your first-
impulsive
oh,
thoughts,
okay.
where I was like, damn, this is bad. I remember I was at the mall. I had seen my old boss, and he was standing next to his ledge. I was like, damn, if I push this guy off right now, you know, he would die.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why am I thinking that? Am I
Yeah.
fucking evil? Am I a
Yeah.
serial killer?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah.
truthfully me? Because that's what I fucking thought.
Have you read into intrusive thoughts, like what they are and stuff?
No. So the only thing that I've read into, and this is just read into not like a fucking book, but into
Yeah.
myself, is like, you know, people read into their dreams a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, people ask me about my dreams, like, oh, do you dream? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, when I do dream, it's always about me dying. And they're like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, have you read into it? Like, what does it mean that you're always dying in your dreams?
Yeah.
But I come to realize what it is for me.
Yeah.
And I think I've talked to you guys about it. So for people who don't know, I have really bad sleep apnea, right? And sleep apnea is where basically I don't know if everyone needs to snore, but you stop breathing in your sleep, right? So for me, like, I actually snore like a mountain lion, and I also like stop breathing in the middle. So I end up gasping for air a lot. A lot of my friends, they see me do it. They're like, dude, are you fucking dying? Like, they freak out because I'm like,
Yeah.
right? That's basically how it
Gasping
works.
for air.
So it's not
Yeah.
much of a psychological
Yeah, so-
phenomenon, but it's more of like a health hazard.
See, see, that's the thing. And for me, I realize
Kinda connected, but,
because
yeah.
me having sleep, I don't know that. I'm unaware. I'm a fucking sleep, right? I have no idea. And in my dreams, I'm dying. And what happens once I die is like I wake up and I shake. I'm like, oh my god. And I realized after a lot of people told me I have sleep apnea is because I stopped breathing, and it's my body's way of telling me like,
Wake
yo,
up.
you're
Yeah,
literally
you gotta
fucking dying right now. Get the
yeah.
fuck out of this dream. Like, wake
Yeah.
up and start breathing.
But
Kinda
was it
crazy.
a dream or was it like when you saw him in real
Oh,
life?
when I saw him in real life, that
Yeah.
was real life. I actually saw this fool, and I saw myself like tossing him over the ledge as if I'm that strong. Anyways, like as if he was like a big black dude. There's no fucking way I
Yeah.
was tossing. He would toss me over the ledge, you know?
You never
But-
had intrusive thoughts, or
all the fucking time.
Really?
Okay, yeah,
what's
then.
your craziest intrusive thought?
Jesus Christ?
Craziest?
Let's
Craziest?
get into it. Let's get
Craziest?
into
I
it.
don't fucking know, man. Craziest? I don't know.
Those are like, you know,
That's
can
me on a
be-
daily. That's literally me on a
Ah.
daily.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
Since I'm so like,
So let me ask you guys this, right?
That might be
Well,
concerning.
This is probably give concern to
you
some
versus
people because
yourself, right?
all right,
Testing myself all the time.
Yeah.
you know, No, we all know. Everyone knows. Everyone here knows. A cheater or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, right?
Okay, yeah.
Those people they act on their impulses, obviously, right? But I'm not going to lie. I've heard some dudes who have never, ever cheated. I don't know if any girls, but dudes specifically who's never, ever cheated, but who definitely have had intrusive thoughts about that.
Yeah.
Do you think that's wrong for someone to even have that thought? Because a lot of times, here's the common question in relationships.
Here we go.
Here's a common question in relationships. Have you ever thought about having sex with anyone else? Do you guys think that he should be questioned about that? Because you're saying now, out of the studies that you read, those intrusive thoughts are things that you should not be doing.
Yeah.
So if, let's say you have significant other, she's like, Adrian.
Man.
Well,
That's
if you
crazy.
describe those as intrusive thoughts versus fantasies, it's completely different, right?
Yeah, well, I mean,
good point.
But the thing is, fantasies are also intrusive thoughts.
I don't know. I mean, one is harmful, right? Pushing somebody off a ledge.
Maybe that could be a fantasy.
cheating could be very harmful.
Fantasy? I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
actually,
fuck this guy.
true.
All right, here we
True,
go.
true,
Now
true.
it's like
Yeah,
delving
open
into the
another
realm.
door. Yeah,
No, you're right though.
But it's true.
When
There's
you
a lot
start,
of blurred lines between these
There's
words.
all
right?
open-minded, like,
damn.
questions.
None
right?
of us are trained psychologists or
Yeah.
psychiatrists.
Well, I
So
love fucking
Don't take this-
psychology.
take
I
this with a
love
huge
psychology.
at
grain
all.
of salt.
But
Like a
it's
rock
the
of
truth.
salt.
But it's the truth, right?
Kosher salt.
Yeah.
Shit, sea salt, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
Rock salt.
let's go through this example, right? You both have significant others,
Yeah.
and they ask you like, have you ever had a thought of being with someone else, like having sex with someone else, like whatever?
Like when you're single or when you're with
when you're with this person.
Well,
Being
that
honest,
question
right?
also becomes very situational, psychological. Things like if you're having a great relationship, would you even bat an eye to think about that? No. But if it's rocky, that opens up the possibility of like maybe.
Well, see, that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
I don't think that
That's
you
also
have to
true,
be
though.
in a bad relationship to ask that question, because
That means
A
either the
lot of-
relationship wasn't serious to begin with, or you guys are like.
you guys think so? I think that you can have a good relationship with someone who's insecure, and someone who's insecure can ask you that question. It could easily not be normally in their train of thought, but it could be something that maybe they talk to in their group of friends.
But
you
at
know?
that point, it becomes on like what spectrum are they on in terms of being insecure. Like insecure about myself, insecure about maybe they're gonna do something. I'm gonna do it 1st. That opens up another door,
Maybe it's just playful at first. Maybe they're just curious.
or it's just maybe it's just a thought.
yeah.
It could just be simply a thought.
See all these fucking questions, no answers, right?
Yeah. So what? Okay. What would you guys
Well,
say?
who
Well-
here like acted upon those actions? Like I don't know, acted upon those like thoughts. I'm sorry.
I've only cheated on tests. That's the only thing I've ever cheated on.
So you guys would never do it. You guys thought about it.
No, but yeah,
But why
like
would you,
thoughts
but the
like
question
that.
is like, why would you guys even think that way to begin with?
Well, who's to say they are intrusive? Like he
'Cause it
made a
could be a
really good
fantasy.
distinction that it could be just fantasy. Because then you're gonna say like, well, is porn intrusive? Like because that's normalized.
Porn itself is a fantasy.
Honestly, maybe being technical, I don't think porn is intrusive. It it's something maybe you have an impulse to do, but it's not intrusive. Like the action of watching porn is not intrusive. It's something you have to act on to have, right? The idea of going to do it is intrusive. The idea of it popping in your head like, oh, I have this desire is
Yeah.
intrusive, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little different.
But that
But-
still is in the same question of you're thinking of having sex with someone else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Like when we're watching
So it
porn, it's
can't
like
be
when you're
both.
watching
Watching
someone, it's
porn
like
It's
oh,
different
I'm
though,
having-
because when you're thinking of having sex with someone else and you're thinking of watching porn, that's not actually watching porn. You see what I'm saying? It's actually thinking of having sex with someone else. That's like the same idea.
but it fulfills the same thing.
we're going in circles here now.
Well, because
I
it,
mean,
it comes
it's-
back
it's-
to the
it's a good
same
question.
place that I brought it up. Like it really comes down to that same exact like thing I'm talking about.
So let me.
It might not be intrusive.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
think of it as intrusive, as if you're really gonna do it because there's a reason behind it, then it's intrusive.
All right.
So how
all right,
about-
it's time to look up intrusive thoughts.
yeah. Let's figure this one out.
Because it seems where the point of contention is what is intrusive and what is fantasy, right? Because from what I think,
But it's the
would
way you
be-
guys want to think about it. If you
Right.
look it up, we know exactly what they are, right?
Right, because someone may think that even watching porn would be harmful. Because
Oh,
in,
of
the
course,
definition
of
of intrusive thoughts, right? Thinking about wanting to watch porn.
The definition
watching
you're about
porn.
to look up?
Yeah. If a thought is disturbing and it's something you want to push out of your mind, so from there
Disturbing.
already, it depends on the person. It might be an intrusive thought. the thought feels hard to control. So it's already applying a layer or a degree of difficulty. So I think in terms of how casual fantasy could be, it's not like, oh, this is so hard to stop thinking about. But if you do have a problem with
As
that,
if you really...
porn addiction, like that one guy who didn't want his name on this episode.
Oh, yeah. True.
You ruined our episode.
But at the same time, like, that literally...
I had some intrusive thoughts about that guy. For sure.
The more you think about it, the more anxious you get and the worse the thoughts get. So definitely
That persuades you to
fantasy
actually
would
want to do
not
it?
be in that sense.
Fantasy sounds like the good thing versus like the bad thing. Right?
Yeah, essentially intrusive thoughts would be disturbing is the key word here that I see. This is from Health Harvard, Ivy League, y'all.
All right, I'll trust that research.
Yeah, right. If it said something like great health or something.
Yeah. Men's.com.
Well, if those thoughts are under intrusive,
Thoughts.com.
then they're intrusive to you guys,
Yeah.
right? You guys just answer your own questions of you guys thinking about doing
Actually, I
those
feel like
things.
we haven't answered the question at all. I was asking.
No, you guys just labeled that as intrusive.
Oh, no. As far as finding definition, yes, I think we found that.
So are those thoughts intrusive to you guys?
Are they disturbing would be a better way to put it, because that adds a degree of sort of intensity to what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
Is it disturbing?
Is the thought of you disturbing Adrian?
Oh yeah, that would be. But
Okay, so it's intrusive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
okay, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay, now
Of
we
course,
now we're figuring something out, right?
Yeah.
Next, would you tell your significant other though?
That I've like thought about that.
Yeah, like if they asked you. Because
Oh.
I've been asked that, and I can't tell
Well, when
if
you
the...
thought about
Well,
pushing,
at
when you
that
thought about
point-
pushing that guy off the ledge, did you tell somebody?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I did.
Whoa.
Oh shit, that's intrusive then. Yeah, because you had a difficulty
Yeah,
understanding that, processing, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, if
Yeah.
I had, which I don't even know, if I really think about it, I haven't had those fantasies because I think of it as fantasy because they're not intrusive to me.
Yeah. No good. You're good.
Not only like have I been in like what X amount of relationships, maybe like 3. Don't even think about another person, which is very hard for me. So
Yeah.
like, I would think of it more as a fantasy then, because they're not intrusive. I would never do it. It doesn't really bother me. It's like, oh, that person's attractive. Da-da-da-da-da. But like that's it. It's just like a couple seconds it goes by. Like there's nothing intrusive about
Yeah.
this. It doesn't
I
disturb
think
me.
if you have those temptations about, oh, I want to cheat on somebody, you have a problem, you know? Because I think there's core issues there in the relationship. And I think that goes separate from intrusive thoughts, you know?
Does that
Intrusive
kinda
thoughts would be
relate
like, I
back
want to
to,
punch this baby in the face.
Yeah.
That's kind of fucking weird and disturbing,
Literally,
right?
these
Can you
conversations we're
elaborate
having,
on that
It
more,
goes
though?
back to morals.
Which one?
man.
The whole like, oh, if I'm thinking about cheating, where it's like at the core of it, I have an issue,
Yeah.
right?
Well, then I think you're dissatisfied with your relationship.
So you
right?
think cheaters are always dissatisfied with their significant other?
Okay, that's good. Yeah, God damn it! Just when I thought I had something, you're right.
I got
I already had,
questions.
I already
I
had
got
that rebuttal.
questions.
I had
I
that
got
rebuttal in
questions.
mind. But whatever you said, I brought that up to begin with, right?
Yeah.
That means if you even have those thoughts, that means your relationship's rocky.
But he's saying there's
Does it
some
have to
cheaters
be
who
rocky?
just don't give a shit about that. Like,
It doesn't have to be rocky.
That
They
means
could be in a healthy relationship.
That's why I said
but-
like, does a relationship even matter to them?
Yeah.
That
oh, yeah.
opens up, or if the door was ever even close to open back up, it's like it's just that's always
Oh, and then
their
we circle
intention.
back to being manipulated.
And this goes back to morality.
Oh,
It really does.
damn.
You see, I can circle it
There
back.
it
I can
is.
really circle it back. It
Because
really
some
is
people
on
do
you.
manipulate their way into a relationship, but then why the fuck are you in it then if you have the
Maybe that's their
tendency to the circle back is crazy. You know what it is? That's their intrusive thoughts. They want to cheat.
It's them
That's
versus
their-
themselves. It's
Oh,
them versus it's their demons at that point.
So you're saying it kind of circles back to morality with any of the topics we were talking about, right?
Yeah, I think it does because it's like it's a personal thought, decision, and things like when it comes down to like what you're gonna do, it's like you really have to think about: is this what I would really do? Is it good for this? Is it bad for that? So like if you really did want to cheat or whatever those thoughts that you let in,
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't anything that you have to worry about, then you don't have to worry about it because you're never gonna do it, right? Because it goes against your morals.
So some people
So
got
that's
just
why I
different
put
levels.
that under a fantasy versus an intrusive thought.
Mm.
If it's an intrusive thought, it's like, oh wait, you left kind of like a foot in the door. Like maybe I would love to do this. Like, is Rocky here? Like, I want that. Maybe that might be better. But I wouldn't think that way. I just see it that that's a possibility that would open that door. And it goes down to what would you really do as yourself, morals, right?
So you know how like certain people are impulsive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think people are impulsive because they don't think about it enough? So they act on
upon
impulse?
feeling. They act upon like, oh shit, like that excites me. I want to fucking do it. Or
It's
like,
kind of in the name.
Yeah, let's go back to like caveman days, right? Like these motherfuckers probably not thinking shit, right?
Yeah.
They probably just whatever they feel is whatever they do.
Yeah.
So therefore, as we evolve as human beings, we're more like the moral thing is something that we created as a society, right?
Yeah, because we became
So
less
like a social construct.
It is a social construct, right?
We became less of an animal.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because even till now, like, what's morally right? We could talk about like the whole vegan shit, right? It's like, is eating animals like right? You know what I mean? Is killing someone right? Like, are we, 100 years from now, be like, oh, actually, that was fucking wrong. Like just how it was wrong to fucking do all this other shit like 100 years ago from here.
Yeah, like slavery.
So what is socially acceptable is really what the question is. It's like, is a vegan gonna shit on someone that eats meat? They kind of can't because it's them versus X amount, right?
Yeah, but also that's what I'm saying is like.
But that's their morals. That's okay.
Do you think that you could be impulsive in certain areas and non-impulsive in others?
Yeah.
Like even though you're a very thoughtful, like self-aware person, there's certain things that just calls you more, like how certain guys just cannot keep their dick in their pants.
Oh, like psychos. And
You know what I mean? There's certain people who are very well put together.
They have their vices.
Yeah, they have their vices. A lot of them are women, and it's like, wow, holy shit! You could do so much. You could achieve so much. You know what I mean? And yet, this one thing, this one maid or this one secretary, all of a sudden you fall apart.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think that's because like that part of their brain doesn't think as much?
Oh, I don't know. That kind of lends too much to sort of seems like desire.
It's what they're willing to do.
Well,
it's what they're willing to give up. Actually,
I mean, because it's hard because you're like it's super specific. You're like a woman, the maid.
Yeah, because that's the biggest crux of like the male being, right? Or at least a straight male, right? Because I say that, and that's the reason why I don't want to pursue those kind of relationships. Because I'm like, I see how impulsive guys are when it comes to that shit, and for me, I'm like, that's their fucking downfall, right? I'm like, dude, you're such a good dude. Why the fuck did you?
Okay, what are you impulsive about?
What am I impulsive about?
Yeah. Or in the past, maybe what impulsivities did you become aware of?
Great question. That's a great question.
Not all the time impulsivities are a vice. Maybe some people label it as like a guilty pleasure, right? Like, I want fucking Taco Bell. I don't give a fuck. Like, cheat day, Impulsive.
Cheat day?
Yeah. But here we go.
What kind of cheat day? We talking about desserts, or we talking about
what kind of tacos you talking about, bro?
But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
I guess
I get what
the range of how impulsiveness could be.
I personally, I'm a man of many vices, so I think in general my impulses are generally negative. But if I am impulsive about anything, it is about having a good time.
Yeah.
But then no matter how much I want to have a good time, it's never gonna involve like oh yeah, me sleeping around or some shit like that. Because that's the part of my brain that like I've kind of like turned off.
Oh, it comes back to morals.
Beat me to it, man.
Yeah,
but that's the thing
so
though.
why do you
like,
keep yourself?
There's impulsive personalities, right? People have impulsive personalities, and they're more sort of. They have to be more aware of that so that they don't fall into certain horrible vices like gambling or addiction or anything. Actually, most of the vices could fall into addiction, but. Not a lot of the impulsive sort of things that people indulge in would be labeled vices, right? Like it could be food, but then it could fall into that realm where if it's only food, then you're kind of fucked, right? You have now probably an eating disorder.
You know how we talked about, I know we keep on using the word fucking impulsive like a billion times at this point, but you know how a lot of the things that people do are impulsive, they're saying that it's like a negative thing. It's hard for you to steer away even though you want to. Let's talk about drinking.
Yeah. Here we go.
You know how when you drink, you say certain things. You're way more impulsive when you drink.
I would say uninhibited.
Yeah, but that leads to impulsive actions, I would say. Right?
I don't know. That's a good question, too. Because when you're uninhibited, Are you more impulsive or are you?
So they
Are
said
you-
that there's
Mhm.
when you drink,
okay.
there's this part, the front of your brain that turns off. This is the one that tells you to question
the
things.
prefrontal cortex.
Yes, yes, that is it. I couldn't find that word in my
Yeah.
brain, but there it was.
I have it. Don't worry.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like this is the thing that tells you to question things. Like,
Mhm.
like should you not? Is this good or bad for me?
The
Versus this is
judgment.
just
Yeah, the
what I
judgment.
want to do,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So therefore, if you remove all that, all
Yeah.
those thoughts, that defense between you doing this or not,
Defense. Oh shit! I impulsive. Oh shit! Impulsive and intrusive.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, that's crazy. You guys bring that up because
Yeah.
I never had to even worry about that when I get fucked up.
Really?
Oh, his prefrontal is
Because
just
my morals,
frontal.
It's strong,
my morals
dude.
stayed the same.
It's full court defense.
Yeah.
No matter how fucked up I get, I would never do certain things, even when I'm drunk.
That's that integrity
guys
I'm
have-
talking about.
You guys have known me for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
A long ass fucking time. When I didn't drink to when I did get fucked up for the first time, even till now, and I get fucked up every day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever like slipped in a way where like, damn, that's out of character for Johnny to do that.
So I'm going to talk about something that's personal
interesting.
to me, and this is me admitting to my own flaws and faults, and
Maybe I get fucked up enough. I don't know, but
maybe, and this is going without saying. Like, I am a very flawed individual, and I have drank and driven before, like blacked out when I was fucking younger. You know,
Yeah.
knowing that terrible thing to do, knowing that, knowing. Morally, I would never want to kill a person like that, right? But I still have done it, right? And that's when it tells me I'm like, nah, I'm not in my right state of mind, you know? Like, obviously now I'm like, I'll just fucking Uber.
yeah.
But to say that I'm without fault, that ever doing that, like that, to me, I'm just admitting to the guilt that, no, I've definitely done that in my younger years. I've definitely, like, woken up in my car
Wondering where you're at.
wondering where the fuck I'm at, you know what I mean? And that's why I think, like, yeah, again, everyone deals with alcohol very differently, like that might happen to me, might not happen to someone else, but it is a very common thing. We can't deny it, and maybe you have like the moral values to not do whatever you're doing, because some people they'll use that for anything, like I used it for driving
Yeah.
back then. People have used it for cheating, you know what I mean? People have used it to not show up to work, whatever fucking reason. There's a bunch.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of excuses that people use for like doing the thing they did, But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, while your brain has the defense on, right, and when it turns off when you're drinking, that thought is still your thought, though.
Definitely.
Accountability.
Accountability, right? And I think the idea that human beings has these thoughts that are, maybe not something you agree with in society, because these are thoughts, your thoughts are not bounded by society and
Of
what
course not,
people think,
yeah.
right? So you could completely go against it. And I think that should be okay as long as you're able to discuss it and rationalize it.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference.
They're conscious thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all like, I'm not gonna say they're valid, like, but if you explain it to somebody, it can be validated. Like if that's what you want, cool. But if you're fucking crazy, want to push somebody off the edge of the. Okay.
Hey, yo, what the hell? Hey, Johnny, there's a couple stairs down that way, bro.
That's a good point to bring up, right? It is very prevalent, drunk driving,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our friends, even I've done it too, I hate to admit that.
Shit, even me.
I think most people, yeah, they're like, I wouldn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But we still make these decisions where we know it could potentially, So that's where that discussion of morality, as much as we have these beliefs, how much are we really pushing for them, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And how much are they actually showing, yeah, this is who I am, right?
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, no matter how drunk you get, it's not any different from sober Johnny, right?
I mean, I wouldn't put it that far.
Well, that's what
I didn't say it like that.
Maybe
like I wouldn't make.
morally.
Yes, I wouldn't like do
yeah.
something
Drunk
that
Johnny will stumble
wouldn't-
versus
yeah, like,
sober Johnny.
If I get drunk, it's like, damn, Johnny's drunk. He's probably gonna go talk to that chick. Like, less likely, very less likely.
Less likely that you won't or you will.
I don't understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, no matter how fucking busted I get, how sloshed I get, it's like I still stay in line with like how I really am as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe things I say, maybe a little like, I go a little off, like,
Mm-hmm.
but I would never overstep a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say something that I need to like take back the next day.
It's a good time to bring up intent versus impact, right?
Okay.
We can all have the intention to, I don't want to hurt anybody. I wouldn't say that to somebody, but when you do something, that's what actually matters, right? Maybe you did get in an accident. Well, you hurt somebody.
We kind of did.
Maybe you did say when you're drunk, you do look fat in that dress.
Yeah.
Your intention may have been different, but the impact of what you do will always hold,
Yeah.
So that's when your morality, your beliefs,
Yeah.
It's going to be put to the test.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
By your actions.
Yep.
So I want to ask you guys this question, right? And you could kind of answer. You don't have to really answer because you have a girlfriend. All right. So
God.
I kind of want to go back to what Johnny was saying. Like, oh, drunk Johnny and so Johnny is very similar morally,
Yeah.
right? But then he also brought up the point, like, oh yeah, when you're drunk, are you gonna go talk to that girl? Yes or no? Is that gonna change your answer? Are you gonna move a little differently if you do drink though? Because today, for example, right, we were eating sushi, and I won't mention his name. One of her Emu friends was pointing to like this table next to us, and it's like, dude, that chick's cute, Pete. Like, you should go talk to her. And I'm like, dude, we're eating fucking sushi. I am not talking to the table next to us. And he's like, bro, come on, why don't you go talk to her? You know? He's like, just have a couple of shots and you go talk to her. I'm like, no, whether I'm drinking or not, this is not where I want to be. But I do know that it does make a difference for some people, right? And I don't know if it made a difference for you and Ariel, like, because initially when you met her, you guys are out partying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I meet most people. Yeah. Friend or otherwise.
But when you were like talking to her, was it while you were buzzed or were you sober?
Oh,
Liquid courage exist or no?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
That's liquid Adrian, bro. No, yeah. I mean, it was hard for me to work up the courage in general to talk to girls. It's probably why I was in the party scene a lot. It's just because it was an excuse to kind of get drunk and then use that sort of courage to do something different, because aside from that, I wasn't really trying too much, apps or otherwise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did have to work up the courage. Even when I was lit, so it was actually out here in Santa Ana.
Oh, really?
What was that bar in the corner?
La Santa?
Yeah. Dude, it's like, this is the introverted side of me, right? Here we go. I'm vegan. It's like she was there around my friends. It was like, oh, I'm going to be comfortable being more of myself around my friends. And I'm lit. What better way to present the extroverted Adrian, right?
Yeah.
And then so I did, and then I approached her like in that manner.
What manner? Explain.
Hey, what's up?
Really?
Trying to crack jokes and stuff. Yeah, trying to make her laugh, and then see if she does laugh, and then if she asks for my handle, and she did. But that's because I was like all up in the camera. She said, "Let me tag you," and I was like, "Okay, sure."
Wow, that's actually kind of brilliant. It's kind of manipulative.
No, it's persuasive.
Imagine if that was like your tactic. Like, you knew that if you get into their shot, like with a group of friends,
I'm dead.
they're more inclined to tag you, right?
Yeah.
So they're more inclined to ask for your handle.
Yeah, that shit is so funny.
Imagine you fucking knew that in the back of your head. Like, your subconscious, like, if I do this shit,
It was subconscious moral compass.
does that affect how you approach when you're drinking? Like, does it give you the liquid courage?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Does it change your mind? Because for me, it doesn't really change my mind. Like, if I drink and someone tells me, because friends are like that. It's like, it's weird. Like guy friends, when they want you to talk to girls, it's kind of like people who know that you dance or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, dancers out there, they know. Like, when
they push you in the
there's
circle.
like a circle, they'll push you in the fuck. You know what I'm talking about? They'll push you into a circle, even though you don't want to fucking dance. Even though this is not your fucking jam, right? They're like, go, come on.
But then you do it anyway.
Yeah. And
You have to. They pushed you.
Exactly. And it's the same thing when
I
it's
don't want to let my
like
friends down.
you're on edge of like talking to a girl, right? You're like, oh, she's cute, but like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like they push you in the fucking circle. Next thing you're talking to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's the same. Well, it's obviously peer pressure, right?
Yeah.
But people who drink fall under peer pressure a lot easier,
Yeah.
right? So that's very common. Is that like that for you, Johnny, or
I can say no.
no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone you talk to, you did.
Girls, yes.
Oh wow.
All the time. You see it
All the time. All the time. Damn. how
You
many
see it all the
girls-
time. You see it all the time.
Every
He
day.
sees it all the time.
Every day.
I'm
Every
pretty
day.
sure he's seeing it too. I see decline
Yeah.
all the time at the clubs, wherever that we go out. I usually say no.
Oh, you say no.
Yeah, or like not even bad at night.
Usually.
Unless I bring them.
Oh.
Oh, damn.
That's
he
outside
said-
the club scene. See
Ah.
that? I work my own magic. now.
Explain.
He
Also,
gets high off
Explain.
his own supply.
Explain, Johnny.
morals. I don't get with girls. I don't talk to girls in
You
the club.
can't use one word on that. You got to explain. So
Yeah,
when
I,
you
I,
bring
I don't
someone,
talk to girls at the club.
yeah,
Yeah.
but let's
I
say
don't
you
go
bring
to
someone
clubs to talk to girls.
Yeah, same.
but you don't have
And usually,
to
yeah, and I actually don't.
because liquid courage could work with someone that you bring to the club or someone that you bring to.
Well, because
True,
they
true.
come with me, right?
Mhm.
That means I already had it in the bag before
Oh,
I
he
even
already
brought
had
them.
the
I don't have to drink to
got
get them.
him. Damn.
It's already in the bag.
Damn,
Got him.
really?
I mean,
Got him.
not even in the bag, but like, okay, cool, I brought somebody. That means they're already willing to go with me.
He ain't faking it till he making it.
Yeah,
There
he's
you
been
go.
made.
Yeah.
I don't need a drink to like. Hey,
You
look
fool.
at me, bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with like drinking to,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I
Yeah.
do it
Cool.
because I look like a fool when I do it, and that's
Yeah.
the worst version of myself.
But some girls like
The alcohol
that. That's
helps you
okay.
forget.
And then you show them your real selves, and they're like, "Oh, damn, Peter, damn."
I don't know if I've ever gone that.
On my end, have you seen that?
Oh,
I don't know.
damn.
Shit, maybe one time. Maybe one time.
I don't know because like it's funny because Johnny doesn't really do that, so he does bring women with him sometimes, and that's
They're just
that's-
friends.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're friends.
Yeah, and that's why it's funny because like the guys are like, oh shit, Johnny's with this girl, like
And then the other dogs will try to, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's fine. They're just my friend. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Mm.
It's like, cool. But you think about it, how many girls have I brought to any club or into the group? Think about
so.
I don't know. I can't
I'm
keep
like starting
count.
to hate using this word now, but so it shows from what you're doing that you're not an impulsive person, right?
Mm.
that. If I have to think about it, the
Or
only-
impulsive in that spectrum.
oh, nah. Nah.
Okay.
Nah, I don't think so.
So let's
Impulsive
go-
to drink, maybe, but like
Okay.
not to drink to do other things that
Yeah,
like
yeah.
get girls or
Okay,
anything.
Yeah.
Probably
let's
not.
go. Let's go further in that spectrum, right? You are a photographer that's known to photograph females.
Yeah.
A lot of times in not a lot of clothing, right?
Sure.
And that in itself, there's a lot of moral implications, especially with male photographers.
Yeah.
And we know because there's a lot of photographers out there, guys who have been canceled because they
Yep.
overstep their boundaries and they're not being professional, right?
Yep.
And I've
that
seen,
disappoints me a lot,
Yeah.
bro. The thing is, like, I've been inspired by like a ton of photographers that do exactly like what I'm doing now. Way more like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, way more like, fuck, what's that word? Sexual.
risque.
Even
Risque,
past that,
yeah.
it's like very, if you want to say intrusive.
Mm.
From the outside looking in, right? It's like, damn, how are you so close to that person like in this? But no, it's not intrusive at all. What it is like I gave them a safe space to do it, right? And that also takes a lot of morality.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Things
true.
like if they didn't trust me to begin with, then why would they hit me up? Because I wouldn't even hit them up to do it. They hit me up.
Yeah.
Because word of mouth, I, worked with this person. This guy is safe, but that's also all word of mouth because those photographers also went through the same thing. But what they do is like, it blew my mind. It's like, bro, how
Yeah, you were
could you even
entrusted.
touch a model? Like, I
dark
don't even
side
touch
of
their
photography.
hair.
Yeah.
I don't even touch them, bro. It's like, I don't even touch them.
Would you say it should be for those guys more outside, out mind? Like, if you're that impulsive towards like women, that you should not be in that field.
The
right?
thing is, like, I'm even past
Like a
that.
OBGYN?
Yeah,
shouldn't
yeah.
be?
I'm
Like,
even past
there's-
that.
yeah,
It's
that's
like-
not a good occupation for you to have.
Yeah, there's
I feel like
actually discussions of that it should just be women dominated, that whole career field.
Dude, even
OBGYN,
that, there are
right?
women
so we're
that
going back to
actually
sexism.
sexually harass women too. Did you guys know that? There's
I'm sorry.
women that actually sexually harass women,
Oh.
and they get written up too.
Yes.
They're also on the blacklist. That's even crazier, right?
Yes.
Oh, you're talking about photography?
Women shooting naked women.
Yeah.
They also get canceled.
See, that's
also
crazy.
insane.
You know where? You know when it's bad
What?
is when there's like memes about it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's so prevalent. Like this, like I forgot which one, but it's like this dude is like shooting risque, like this format,
Yeah.
but he's also naked. So it's like, why the fuck are you naked too?
Yeah.
Like,
I've seen
that's
that.
it's funny, but it's funny because it's probably fucking true. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
I was gonna bring up how genius what Johnny did for a while was because when all those photographers were getting canceled, he's like, fuck that shit. I'm not about to get in trouble because sometimes, like a lot of times it is true they're doing those things, right? Sometimes it is like being accused without any like evidence. And Johnny, he used to go live and he would like put his camera like on himself, showing him that he's just working.
Yeah.
So that way, like he has evidence
I
to
cannot
prove
I can't get
that he
canceled.
was not doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was brilliant. Like
Yeah.
when you did that.
And I did
Yeah.
that for actually most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still have, not to, but it's like, in case something happens, because I don't write contracts for this shit, because it's like,
Yeah.
this is my creative outlet, and like, these women are like, cool, let's do a creative shoot. Cool. I shoot, you take it, and then I have my photos, whatever. No,
Hey, yeah, you gotta have your receipts.
exactly. It's
honestly.
to save myself.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I actually trust them enough, and they also trust me enough
Mm-hmm.
to like do those kind of shoots.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's why, like, I don't even gotta worry about anything.
Yeah.
And not only that, before I even shoot with them, I become friends with them too.
That's
It's
good.
like
good
and
practice.
it's
good practice.
becoming like personable with them, even through IG. I don't even meet them because
Mm-hmm.
like they live elsewhere, and when they come, they're so excited to like meet me as a person, and I'm exactly like how they expect me to be,
Integrity.
which
Yeah.
also gives them a safe space to allow them to pose and do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, oh, I fucking planned that. Like, oh man, this is my way. It's like, no, it's like, I'm here to fucking shoot, man. I'm here to fucking
Yep.
create, not to like see any of that bullshit. Like, I don't even fucking pay attention to that shit, bro.
Mhm.
I'm here to do me, man. I'm here to like create shit, bro. It's like, are you an artist or are you a fucking creeper? It's like,
Take
at the end
notes,
of the
y'all.
day.
Take
Yo.
notes.
Take
Any aspiring
notes.
photographer.
man,
That's how
these
you
notes
should act.
should have already been written, bro. What the fuck? Like, literally,
Yeah,
these notes
true.
should have been written already.
True.
Like, if you
True.
want to do this kind of shit, you should already know, bro. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like, man, I gotta think about like whether I'm a fucking creep or not.
Like a moral compass test before you become a photographer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, especially like in this niche.
See, that's why I only take pictures of buildings. I only know how to make buildings look sexy. That's it, man. I don't want to touch anything else, man. I'm
The,
fucking
when you
good.
do-
Santa Onofre is
Blue
like two
Ocean.
big titties, bro. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
So, Johnny, we talked about a lot of moral stuff, right? And you, in your career as a, I don't know what you'd call it, if we were to label it, what would
Creeper.
dwarf
I mean,
photo-
photographer,
Whoa.
photographer, creative, whatever it is.
Yeah. What's a piece of advice you give to people out there to not get canceled like these other people? Not because like they shouldn't, because like they want to avoid that path.
Remember why you motherfucking started, bro. If it's for that reason, then don't fucking do it.
Ooh, damn, so easy.
But
Nice.
how
Very
do you
Yeah.
define that though? You know what I mean? Like, guys,
Morality.
Only you can define it. If a
Morality.
creeper's
Really?
gonna define it, it's like, oh, I'm just doing it because I like shooting photos.
Yeah.
'Cause, okay,
It
let
goes
me
to
be
women,
honest
right?
on my own terms, right?
Mhm.
Like, I take photographs. I'm not a photographer. I take photographs, right? But if I were to take a photo of someone, like, let's say, extremely attractive, in my mind, I'm like, oh, they're extremely attractive, like, objectively,
Mhm.
right? I still think that. Is that wrong? How far, like, distant do I have to be?
Well, that's
from
the
this?
question you ask yourself, right? Thing is, I shoot with a bunch of attractive models, and I think they're all attractive.
Mhm.
Like, of course, that's why I'm shooting them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But does that ever get in the way of what I need to do? No,
Mm.
So let-
ever. It's
let-
like that's not what I'm not focused on how attractive they are. I'm focused on how they can emote to capture what I want.
Mm.
Well, that's what
Like,
I'm saying.
that's
Though.
completely
It's
different,
not
though.
about the focus. It could be in the back burner. You know what I mean? Like maybe like let's say I'm doing that kind of art form.
Well, that's the
It
thing.
would-
What's in the back burner?
like I think that this person's attractive. It's there.
Well, the
thought
thing is,
there.
like, I don't have anything in the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like,
you don't even think
because I
that?
don't. No, I don't
Oh.
bat. I was like, cool, they're attractive. Like that's why
So
I
you just feel like asexual when you see them. You're just like
definitely
I feel
yes,
nothing.
exactly.
Ah.
Asexual. Whatever. There's no.
So you think
There's
that?
no like you know.
do you think that a
no
photographer
ulterior.
who does feel like that can never?
I would say
Be in
never.
that
It's like how
industry?
well do you know yourself?
Well, let's say they won't do anything about it, but it's there in the back burner.
Well, that means if that's in the back of the head, there's a possibility it might come out. I don't have that at all.
So should they or should they not at that point?
I feel like they fucking shouldn't.
So they shouldn't.
I feel like they fucking shouldn't.
Oh,
I feel like they
damn.
fucking shouldn't. You know why? Because like at that point, I just call that shit dormant.
I mean, if
What's the
something's-
threshold until it comes out?
But
Yeah.
if something stays dormant, then sometimes it might not be malicious or harmful,
Oh,
right?
that itself is already malicious and harmful, man. It's like having that exact
Oh,
thought
the
in your head.
possibility.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean,
because you can't excuse that possibility that
yeah.
if you're doing something professional as that
Yeah.
should never be in your head.
Yeah.
Really, it shouldn't.
Huh.
Okay.
That is where I draw the boundaries. Like, if that's, I mean, I know myself better than that.
Yeah.
That mindset wouldn't even be there to begin with.
Yeah.
So going back to the OGBYN.
OBGYN.
Yeah. Like, do you think that in general then, like that kind of photography, like burlesque or boudoir photography, should be predominantly female photographers then?
I don't necessarily agree with that either, because
Oh.
there are some instances where like there are females that also sexually harass other females,
Yeah.
or even men. Do you think about that?
Oh,
Females
yeah,
also
yeah.
shoot men.
Well, what I'm hearing now then is that everybody's capable of committing some sort
Could
of
be,
harm in some degree, regardless of their gender.
Yeah,
So
it's why you started.
it's
to
also
begin
hard to
with.
police people's thoughts, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
because I personally,
Exactly.
I've never done the kind of photography that Johnny has, but I've like taken pictures of females, not in like that kind of like scenery,
Yeah.
but I'm objectively, I'm like, oh, this person is attractive, yes or no, like sometimes yes, sometimes no.
It's okay
But
to
I
think
don't
they're
feel
attractive,
like,
though.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying though. Like
Yeah.
that thought is dormant. Where I'm like, that is secondary to what I'm trying to do.
Oh, thinking they're attractive is not a bad thing.
Oh yeah, okay, that's what I was trying to say.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you meant like thinking that you might do something.
No.
that's-
Okay,
that's
then-
level
yeah,
2.
we're good then. Like,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
having that like in your head, like, oh, they're attractive, I don't want to do something, and then they don't do
Yeah.
anything. That's
Yeah.
dormant.
So what are certain etiquettes that you think should be had?
You should always be respectful for the models. You should never
Okay.
touch them. For
Okay.
one,
Mm-hmm.
you should always like.
So
you
what
know,
if they ask you
they ask me what?
to touch them? What if
Oh,
they're
man,
like,
I
hey,
gotta
can you fix
protect
my
myself.
hair?
Like, no, can you
can
fix
you-
your hair?
Can
Can
you
you
help
fix
me
your hair?
pose correctly?
Then I'll like pose myself for them to pose. I'm not gonna fucking touch them, bro. It's like
So if they ask you,
I feel like that's just opening up a door for some bullshit, man.
so never ever touch.
Nah,
Got it.
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. So what other etiquettes are there?
Just be fucking respectful, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, would you like to get touched, like by someone that you don't want to touch you, like that kind of shit. It's like
You know that
allow them to bring a friend, allow them to like record or whatever. Like they need to make sure that
But
they're
see,
safe.
that's the thing. Though, what you said, like, would you want someone to touch you if they don't want you to touch you? But if they want you to touch them?
Well, then that just like what do you call it? Separates exactly what we're there for. We're here to create, right?
Yeah.
Why do I need to touch you to create?
Because some people
No
are
way.
awkward and some people can't find the right positions.
Well, that's
I'm-
the
I'm-
thing.
I'm
I
just saying
already,
in the-
already cleared that air
Yeah,
of
yeah,
awkwardness when we first meet. When we first meet, everything's good. It's not awkward anymore because we already kind of established that beforehand.
so it kind of comes into the realm of like consent, right? Like
Absolutely.
okay.
Before
'cause
anyone shows up,
it
you need
reminds me
consent.
of a time when I was learning roller skating. So this is not even photography or anything, but I was learning from somebody who is really good at roller skating, and I was trying to learn to roller skate backwards, and I don't know how. And she was like,
Did you let her?
she's
tie
like, is it
your shoe?
okay if I hold your hands? And to me, I was like, oh yeah, and I was like,
Exactly.
that's exactly the same
But,
situation
like,
in terms
imagine
of
she
when
like held your hand, just like you feel awkward about it because I don't know this
Yeah.
person. She's a female. Like, wait, I'm taking
Yeah.
it. Some shit like that.
yeah, in a lot of situations, yeah.
Yeah, automatically.
When
you
it
just
comes to
feel weird about it.
physical,
Yeah.
it's usually obviously consent has to come into
Even
play.
me as a photographer, if my model like touched me, I would feel fucking weird about it.
Oh, the opposite end. Yeah.
Like it could go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
But what if it's the other way, like where the model actually harasses you? It's like, can you argue against that? They're always
Yeah.
gonna take their side.
That's also very true too.
So you just separate yourself completely by not even being in their vicinity.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So to go off on a little bit of a tangent, do you think it's okay to date the people you work with?
Oh,
Outside of
Lord.
work, yeah. If you meet outside of work and you do everything outside of work, as in like profession,
What
then
if you
yeah,
meet-
sure.
During work.
You can meet there, and then you can do everything outside of it. But everything that's in there, I feel like
Isn't there
it
like
just
usually company policies against that, like fraternization and
I
stuff?
don't know because a
Well,
lot
that
of
depends
a lot
if
of
it's like-
photographers are independent and a lot of models are.
In a
independent.
lot of. Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
well, because I work with. Well, I'm not
Makes
gonna even
sense.
like bring that up, but it's like a lot of it's like it's off the books.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's off the books. So that's why I really have to like cover my ass.
Well, your question was, is it okay to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because to me, like I don't understand that word at all. Like when you're my coworker, like you don't even exist. You know what I mean? As far as like that, like I don't even consider dating
If it's a
you at all.
coworker, then you're gonna see them, day by day. or
Well, I mean,
every
coworkers,
day.
and like it doesn't mean that someone's like constantly working with me. It could be like we worked on this set together one time, and I would consider them. Oh yeah, I used to work with them.
Well,
They were
that's the
coworkers.
thing. Like, you guys are bound by like company policies, right? I'm kind of not. It's like if I date somebody that's a model, who's gonna yell at me? Who's gonna fire me? Nobody.
Yeah.
But is
Yeah.
that now a question of like company policy or personal morals?
Morals, right?
Yeah.
It is morals. It is. And usually, I actually don't. Usually, I don't.
So you usually don't, but sometimes you do.
You don't shit where you
I did
eat.
it one time.
Oh, you did one time.
That was my-
Go into that. Go into that. Let's dig.
This is my first time. That was literally like my first time working with a sex worker at that point. And I was
Sex
like,
worker.
Oh.
well, I didn't want to open that door, but damn, bro. I mean, yeah. It didn't, it was something new for me. And like, I was like, okay, cool. Like, let's, expand my horizons kind of shit. But even then, I was still very, what do you call it? Reclusive. Because, like, I don't know what's going to happen. This person might, XYZ.
Yeah.
And even when it got down to like the point where like we were actually like dating, I even like pulled back to any sexual activity. And I was like, it felt very awkward for me too.
Yeah.
Anybody can say I'm a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, why'd you fucking do it, you fucking pussy? But at the same time, it's like when it comes to like your profession, you need to keep it very fucking separated. Very separated.
Yeah.
And it's not until like she made the actual first. I mean, she made all the first moves.
It's a little more difficult too because she's a sex worker. So you.
And she was always belligerent when it came to that, which is why I didn't trust it.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't trust it.
Yeah.
I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I would always pull back. It's like, nope, you're not in the right mind. But bro, if it was any other person, they'd be like, oh shit, that's my chance. Like, oh shit, that's another fucking opening, right? But I also have respect for not only her, but also myself.
Yeah.
Like, because it's so easy, why would I sell myself short if it's that easy, bro? I don't know. Maybe it's like, I might sound a little, pretentious or some shit, but it's like, nah, it's like, I'm not going to risk my profession over something like that.
I would just say you're cautious.
Very cautious.
Very cautious,
You have to, but some people don't think about that because that's probably the purpose why they even wanted to shoot in the first place.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of those questions like, man, you must love your job because you see like, women all day. It's like, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think about meeting these women, bro. Like, I think about like, what am I going to create from all this? Who's going to see the emotion that comes behind it? Like, no one thinks about that shit.
Yeah.
That's also okay though. It's like to one's own, right? If they understand it, they get it.
Yeah.
If not, then let's keep moving. That's
Yeah.
it. That's the thing is like that's the sole purpose of why it started, and that's what I still live it up till today.
I see the integrity. I
Yeah,
see
no,
it.
the
I see it.
integrity and the
Like-
morals outstanding.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think I've
respect.
crossed that boundary. I don't think I've crossed that boundary ever.
Especially with that story you just told too. The extra precautions you took too, in that circumstance, right? Especially with someone who's a sex worker, it's gonna be a little more different than your normal relationship, and I think it just speaks to the integrity that you have explained already in this whole
Yeah.
episode too. So
I think what I'm
What's
starting to
that?
understand is that you let your morals set the boundaries.
Yeah, like you have to be as vulnerable as they are,
Yeah.
or else you will never get there. Right? You have to be on neutral grounds with them.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good point.
it's true though. It's
Yeah.
like it's very psychological when it comes to that point.
Yeah.
Now I'm a boudoir photographer. Just kidding.
All right, guys, we're going into our lightning round where we ask our guests rapid fire questions, and if they can't answer, they gotta take a shot. Johnny, are you ready?
Yes.
What
I mean,
is?
oh yeah.
All right, what is your favorite food?
Oh fuck, man! I love food in general, bro. But I like steak, man.
Oh, that's
Steak.
right.
There you go, bro.
this
Not
guy
only do I
cooks
like
a
it, my
mean
homies like it
steak.
too, man. I like meat, but I'm not gay.
All right, what is your most favorite person that you've shot?
Oh.
Oh man, they're all my favorites, man. I can't really pick one.
Nice.
I really can't.
Political
Like,
answer.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
oh shit! No, if I could really like pinpoint it down,
Mm-hmm.
it's a long story, but I'll try to keep it short.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went to go surprise Peter and everybody in Japan. Before I even got on that flight, this model followed me. I was like, okay, cool, like, dope. I fucking land in Tokyo, and she DMs me. She's like, hey, let's shoot. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm in Tokyo. She's like, I'm actually in Tokyo. I'm like, what the fuck? And I go, we do our thing, and then we meet some of my friends out there that I was, planning to meet. They just finished a photo shoot with that same model.
Oh,
and I'm like, what the fuck?
Small world.
Small
And
world.
we couldn't really shoot because of the time span that we're at.
Yeah.
I fly back to LA. She flies to LA. And then I shoot with her, and then she flies back.
Oh, so she's from there.
Bro, she doesn't even live there.
Oh.
She's just there to visit. And she came to visit me to shoot. And I was like, what the fuck?
What the
Easiest,
fuck?
model I've ever shot.
Yeah.
Super nice. Probably one of my best shoots ever. One of them amongst many. But
What the heck?
that whole, I don't know.
Oh.
Turn of events, it was just
Yeah.
dude, it's insane.
That's really
crazy.
insane.
The power of social
Damn.
media.
Yeah. Oh, so she kind of knew you from social media, or
She followed me randomly.
that is crazy.
And it turns out she knew my friends, and I was like, wow.
All right. So what about your worst shoot?
Worst shoot. The worst shoot that I had doesn't even apply to personal creativity. It applies mostly to work shoots. I've had bad shoots, and you know how that goes. It's they hire a model, unprofessional, don't know what they're doing, they're very bitchy, I'm a model, I know what I'm worth, blah blah blah, and they're just like, dude, you don't know how to fucking do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just leave it at that. It's probably one of my worst ones.
So
It's
they're not
when they
cl-
don't know what they're doing, when they see themselves in a higher standard. It's like, bro, no, please.
Very hard to work with
Very
collaboratively.
hard to work.
Yeah.
Everything. There's absolutely no synergy.
Damn.
No, or even they're not professional.
Yeah.
Not professional at all.
Last question. Do you have a fetish?
Tentacles.
I'm not really active, so can't really answer that.
Active
I'm sexually active. I'm not sexually active. Can't put me on the spot
okay.
like that. But the thing is, if you guys know about Virgos.
Virgos.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wait. Go
Let's
on.
not-
Zodiac signs.
All right. My question. What are Virgos?
Yeah, we're going to Pete.
Senpai in the streets.
Oh.
Hentai
Hentai
in the sheets.
sheets. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can't even
Yeah.
say I'm vanilla. At least French vanilla, right?
Hey,
At least
damn.
French
I didn't even
vanilla.
know that existed. I didn't know there was words for that. Okay. What is your favorite genre of music?
Fuck, I like lo-fi, experimental.
Oh, wow.
I kind of like everything,
Yeah?
Keep it kind of open there.
Yeah.
If you could no longer do photography or videography, what would you do?
Oh,
Oh man, I'll draw. Another art form,
nice.
that's actually where it kind of progressed from drawing. So if I fucking lost a fucking eye or some shit, I can still draw, right?
Ah.
Oh, wow.
If you no longer could do the curly mustache, what kind of facial hair would you have?
None.
Oh, really? You just shaved it?
Upside down.
The
Fu Manchu.
that's how it was, right? I didn't have this before.
Yeah. What's one country that you want to travel to that you've never been?
Never been to.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking China, man.
And what's your favorite body part on the opposite sex?
Oh, women.
I mean, definitely not male.
Opposite sex. Women.
All of women.
Yeah. All of them.
Body part.
Yeah.
Man, there's multiple, man.
The,
Your
But,
favorite,
like,
though.
the most.
The most.
Fuck. When I'm
a good
looking at
question.
them, mostly eyes. I go for the eyes. But body part, aside from that, clavicle.
Oh,
Whoa,
wow. Actually, yeah,
clavicle.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Clavicle.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Clavicle?
This part, bro?
No, I know what clavicle is. I've just never heard
I
of.
feel like clavicle's like the forearm of men for women.
There you go.
Really?
Kind of the
interesting.
almost underrated, but not really.
Like when they're about to, do some shit and you see it right there. You see it right there, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Well, now
Isn't
that you
that-
said it, I'm
Does
like,
that,
okay, I
is
can.
that like a, you know what I'm saying? Light bulb? No?
Yeah.
Little reaction to the clavicle.
You see it right there, bro.
Last question for me. What country do you think has the best fashion sense?
Nice.
Well, I haven't seen it all. I haven't seen it all yet, but
Just clavicles.
clavicles.
Which country has the best clavicle?
I mean, I've always been like inspired by like Japanese fashion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, that concludes our lightning round. I want to say thank you to our amazing guest, Johnny. Let us know where we can find you.
IG dim.slum dim.slum.
And thank you guys for tuning in and watching all the way through. I appreciate Johnny coming through and giving us the semantics of intrusive and impulsive. I had a great
Amorality.
time. Amorality.
Yeah.
I had a great time. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment below what you guys want to hear next time. And remember,
Live fast, eat ass.